third, and back here at Camelback Ranch, the news is good. Cubs lead at 3-0. John Shambi, Jim DeShays, Taylor McGregor, and Sundays with Rossi. Hi, how are you?
Is it Sunday? We're at Sunday. It's nice. First one.
Sunday.
The monster truck pulls. That sounds like some Tallahassee stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Everything's good. You know, first thing, I'm going to give you some love. You're in like Dancing with the Stars type shape right now, buddy. I mean,
the only way I had to go was up. You know what I mean? It was the manager needed to get back into some shape in the offseason, so I did. It was nice. Had a nice offseason with the kids and some relaxing times, and it's nice to get back in the guys. The coaching staff, a little inside info. The coaching staff had a little wager going in the offseason just about getting in shape, so I had to step up my game a little bit.
Yeah, Greeny looks good. He carried it over from last year. Hey, real quick, with this guy at the plate, give me a Matt Mervis scouting report. Already yesterday, hit a couple of balls hard.
Yeah, look, I mean, you see, there's not a whole lot of movement. There's not a whole lot of action. Big, thick guy, just brings just presence to the box, but it's really quiet and slow, and he wants to hit. That walk. He's had a couple of walks already seeing the baseball, but he's an intense human being, power to all fields, and I'm just excited about the future of this young man.
Carter Hawkins told us that, it was quirky in 2020 because there were only 5 rounds to the draft. So after the 5 rounds end, then you have a little bit of a period, and then at midnight the clock ticks and you can call guys you want to sign as non-drafted free agents. He told me you made the call to him.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They don't ask me to pick up the phone too often unless it's really important. And he's a guy that as soon as that time hit, he was a guy number 1 on our list. And I picked up the phone, called him a little bit. I know he played with Conine's son, who I know a little bit. We had a nice conversation, and lucky for us, we ended up getting him. He chose us, and he kind of in that free agency mode in that year, and worked out really well. He had a tough season 2 years ago, made some adjustments, and felt really good about his progress last year, and put himself on the map. And he's a guy that hopefully continues on that trend.
Got kind of a Rizzo body, doesn't he?
I didn't want to compare him. I'm glad you said it, JD. I didn't, but just the whole, it's like the shoulders are just really long and thick. The neck, just the whole thing. He's just got a presence about him in the box. It's very simple, quiet, young man, but a really good way about him so far.
David Ross agreed with Jim DeShays when he said he reminds him of Anthony Rizzo.
Headlines.
That's always the problem, right? Oh, Rossi said you're going to be Anthony. No. We're talking body type. Who knows what he ultimately will be.
What have you guys noticed so far? What do we got? What are the questions for the rules? You guys liking it?
Well, I was going to ask you. I was watching Jan and Marcus working yesterday, and Tucker here today. So the clock doesn't start until the pitcher gets the ball back, correct?
Correct.
So as a catcher, you can impact that, right? You could hold the ball a little bit longer and allow that pitcher a little time to reset.
Yeah.
The catcher's kind of getting caught up in this a little bit?
I think we're trying to work within the spirit of the rules. I think, Major League Baseball is going to be on top of people trying to circumvent the rules. And if there's any kind of long delays, I think they'll kind of warn us, and then you can be penalized. But, right now I think everybody's just trying to get in the flow, the rhythm. There's some things that you can do, I think, to stall out here or there, but you're really only going to get 4 or 5 seconds on that. So I think we're all going to get home a little bit quicker at night. The game's going to be active. I think we're going to see a lot of action, base running. The athletes are going to be able to play on the field. And let me hold him here. Athletes are going to be able to play without the shifts. We're going to see these guys, especially our guys. We got some really good ones up the middle, and I'm excited about just to see the excitement come back into the game as far as defensive plays.
Long run down there as Muncy is joined by Taylor, and that'll get out of play. I just want to ask you on the stolen base. We were talking about this earlier with Deluzio going. In general, how do you work it? With a guy like Deluzio who can run, does he just have the green light unless you tell him to stop? And it's rare that you put the go on? How's it work?
Yeah, I mean, for me in spring training, everybody's got the green light. I want them to test it, see how it feels. I want those guys to show their skill set. Who was just on the mound? Shelby Miller was just on the mound for them. He's like a 165. So we're gonna run if you're not locked in there yet. And we've got guys around the bases. We got Morel at third. We got 2 strikes. on a guy, we're gonna move some runners. But for the most part, these guys got the green light. Now during the season, it'll be handled a little bit differently. But right now, I want these guys to show their skills.
So Rossi, I would imagine you're having a lot of conversations about the whole the disengagement rule and how you can take advantage of pitchers. And, are we going to see huge one-way leads? Are we going to see straight steals to home? I mean, we're going to try to induce box.
Yeah, I'm not going to give away my secrets, Jim. What the heck? I mean, we've got
nobody's watching.
We've got to. The heck with it. Nobody's listening anyway. No, I mean, I think we talk daily about. I mean, yesterday there was probably 6 things I wrote down that should just come into play at some point, whether it's what we need to scout, what we need to look for, some tendencies. It's going to make pitchers panic a little bit, I don't want to list any of those off, but we've definitely talked about those.
T-Mac has a question if you want to just
What do you got,
to
T?
your right.
What do you got,
Yeah.
T?
Hello down here. I was curious about the dialogue with the umpires yesterday. Just how valuable was that for you?
Yeah, that was probably the most important thing about yesterday, getting guys off the field with some innings under their belt and healthy. But the things that stood out to me, having some conversations. Excuse me.
It's okay.
In theory, we can have. I ate too many seeds before I got on here. If you start an inning and they violate that 30-second rule and throw one after that, that's a ball. Well, if the hitter gets in after 8 seconds, that's a strike. So you could, in theory, start an inning 1-1 without a pitch being thrown. Just little things like that. What's the dynamic if the catcher makes the last out and rushing out, and or is on deck and has to get out there and takes a little bit of time. Those are the things that we were talking about.
We're going to get you some water. Can we get you some water?
I don't know.
Would
I
somebody get it? Can we?
I
Somebody
need a water.
Yeah. Can we just?
I just yelled at that point.
All right. That's in for a strike to talk.
The Dodgers had one yesterday, I guess, when Freeman was hitting, and Mookie was on base, and he was putting the oven mitt on, and that took a little time, but the clock was ticking down on Freeman. I mean, our base runners are going to have to call timeout now to stop the clock to do that, to allow their hitter to get set. Has that been? Is that a thing?
They're supposed to give you, if you have some kind of shin guard or some kind of protective gear on, they're supposed to start the clock after that gets put on or after it gets given to the base coach after an at-bat. So I think umpires are working through this stuff too. They're having conversations. There's things that they haven't talked through or thought of. Mike Hill and Joe Torre are all coming to see us in a couple days, and we'll talk through a lot of that.
Thank you, sir. It's good to check in with you, and enjoy the rest of today.
Y'all have a good one. Good to get the first one out of the way. Well, take care.
Thanks, Gaffer.
David Ross right there. Cubs on top. It is 3-0.
It would appear.
Get DirecTV with a 2-year price guarantee.
I'm a Vegas hotel. I know what you're thinking. It's cool. I don't want anything too serious either. Just a fun, spontaneous thing. I'm looking for someone who will let loose, dress up a little, see a show, order the steak and the lobster. Some people say I'm excessive, but who cares? I'm just looking for a Saturday to remember and a Sunday by the pool. Think you can keep up?
Every piece of land has a story, written by those who work it. Like the Caggianos, who are brewing their own legacy. Or the Wrens with their drama-free plot, tranquil and serene. The Upshaws, they DIY all the time. While the Nelsons play lead in their own adventure, 150 years in the making. There's a story in every piece of land. Run with us and start telling yours.
Welcome back, Camelback Ranch here in Glendale as the Cubs lead the Dodgers 3-0. Javier Assad, a couple of shutout innings, and Turns it over here to Michael Rucker. So Rucker to face the bottom third of the order. Thompson, Bush, and DeLuca. Trace Thompson, Clay's little brother and a former Cub. We'll get a chance to see him in 21. Played 15 games for the Cubs at 4 homers. Well, last year began the year with the Padres. Got DFA'd. He's been with the Dodgers once already, originally drafted by the White Sox, but he crushed it. I mean, he had 13 home runs. That one drilled in the air right field.